listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests, first-timers on Ron Siegel Radio, John and Melissa Hammond Inspection Services. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to have you both with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Good morning, Andy. Andy, I thought you were in Hawaii. What are you doing up this early listening to our broadcast? You can catch it on replay a little later. It's pretty early over there in Hawaii, isn't it? And Chad, I see you as well. Probably got a little tequila going this morning. We'll just check that out. But I will not say anything about that to anybody else. What are we celebrating today? We got to celebrate something every day. And I looked at today's celebrations. And boy, is today one of the better days of the year. I mean, yesterday we had all kinds of garbage, according to my opinions. I mean, how can after going through National Compliance Officer Day, you need something a lot better than that now. It is Thursday. Thursday is the new Friday. So if you want, you can join us over at Reunion this afternoon. Martini time on you. But let's look at this. National Scarf Day. Yeah, I don't think we're going to go with that one. The rest of them, I think we can go with a National Chocolate Milk Day. I can handle that one. I wonder if we put I would not say that. National Corned Beef Hash Day. Once again, having beaten anorexia, we can stick with that as well. We enjoy some of those on a regular basis. Hey, let's look at the stock market. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, it is up 168 points right now. Yeah, that's some good news. We'll take that one. Why is the market up when they increased interest rates yesterday? Wouldn't you think that the market would have gone down when they increased the interest rates? But why did that happen? I guess we better talk about the why, not the what. So we'll get into that this morning and chat about why is it that the market went up? Why did interest rates on your home loan, why did that drop yesterday? Seems like it's a little counterintuitive, doesn't it? I think that we better watch out on that one as well.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Yeah, so we'll get into that and figure out why those things are going the way they are. We did get some good news this morning. We got our GDP report. Yes, it is the third revision of second quarter GDP. At that 4.2%. Federal Reserve came out and said, well, we're going to get a 3.1% for the year now. So good news on that front as well. Now the one area that we can say that we probably got some bad news on, and especially right here in Taxifornia, gas prices going up again. National average on a gallon of gasoline, $2.87.3. Here in Taxifornia, we're paying $3.68.3. $3.68.3, 80 cents a gallon more than the rest of the country on average. And once again, if you need gasoline, if you are driving one of those gas guzzlers, Alabama's the place, $2.54.8 a gallon. Take the hybrid over there, fill it up, come back, and you can drive for another couple months and then go back over there and get some more gas. Might be the way to work for you. Big news of the day, obviously, there are some of you that decided, obviously every one of you decided, that you're not watching the circus in the Senate because it's going on right now. It's nothing really that you're not going to expect to hear. It's fascinating to me how they put that circus on, and so many people watch it. Every channel's got it on, and don't you already know what they're going to say? She's going to say he did it. He's going to say he didn't do it. You're going to get Kamala Harris coming out there and grandstanding. Cory Booker's going to look like a fool, as he always does. Dianne Feinstein will probably hold some more news and not tell people and ruin people's lives. Think about that concept. If she would have done this thing the right way, the same way it's been done for centuries, you give the information confidently and confidentially over to the FBI. They do the background searches. They report back to the committee, and no one's name gets smeared. Now, Dianne Feinstein would rather smear these people's names. This Dr. Ford, I mean, can you imagine what she's done to this lady because of grandstanding and her own personal desires, Feinstein's personal desires to make a circus out of this whole thing? And how would you like to be the parents of any young man in this country? Right? I mean, I listen to some of the news channels, and fascinating what's going on. The women's movement is going to take a huge step backwards. That's the unfortunate part of where we're going right now. And why do I say that? Well, I saw one of the ladies that leads one of the women's movements. She's on the Business Channel all the time, saying businesses and business owners and some of the big corporations, well, they don't want to have any kind of commingling events, no lunch appointments, men and women. They don't want to have any after-hours events, men and women. Think about that. Is that the right thing to do? Now, I got to share with you, I've talked to some real estate agents now. Real estate agents are saying, do I really want to show a house without having second people with me? Is that the direction we want our country to go in? But that is what is happening right now, and it's unfortunate, and it's being led by lunatics like Dianne Feinstein going, maybe she's just senile. I don't know. Maybe that's the issue with her. Maybe she's just gone senile. I mean, obviously she's not in the Senate. Oh, wait a second. I thought maybe she was not in the Senate for the money. But have you noticed how much her net worth went up since she's been in the Senate? Now, they make about $180,000 a year, and saving all of that money, she's become a triple-digit millionaire. How does that work on $180,000 a year? Maybe her husband got some contracts. I don't know. We'll just see about where that goes. But that's just the information that comes out. Let's see what else is going on in the news this morning. I know that's the big story of the day. And once again, obviously this is an interesting one because Brett Kavanaugh in his remarks is going to say he misbehaved when he was in high school.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
I got to say, no one's going to ever want me to be a Supreme Court judge or justice. I don't even want to become a mayor because I've seen what those guys go through. But there are some things that I would say that I did in high school and definitely in college that I don't think I'd want publicized. And haven't most of us done that? Think about it yourself. Unbelievable. Here's another issue I found fascinating. Liberty University. They will allow up to, not more than, but up to 300 students to miss classes today in order to give Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh support in Washington, D.C. and counter Yale University protesters. If you want to be excused from classes, go to Washington and counter what the Yale students are doing and support Judge Kavanaugh. We've got 300 spots from you, according to Liberty University President Jerry Falwell Jr. And is that what we want, is the schools to be getting into that system? Is that the issue? Crazy. Just fascinating. Yeah, Bruce, I see you there, and I know you're giving us some more garbage that you give me all the time. But eventually you'll get a clue that it's not just about you. Unbelievable there. Interesting. I love getting Bruce's comments right in the middle of the radio show telling me all of his false accusations. Gotta love it. Moving right along. Hey, did you see 80 minutes yesterday? 80 minutes from the president going and taking question after question. And from the other loon, John, what's his name on CNN? Nobody watches him, but he does get questions asked in some of these hearings. President, 80 minutes of going just mano a mano with a whole room full of journalists. And believe it or not, I found this one fascinating as well. When President Trump goes with 80 minutes, they got in, probably about 35 questions. Do you remember how many questions we got with President Obama in 80 minutes? Yeah, it might have been 10. Just saying, I mean, maybe that's the whole issue right there. One person just tells it like it is. Whether you like it or not, doesn't matter. Does tell it like it is. Moving right along. Hey, the thing about this one is a fascinating story going on. Now, the New York Times, basically they're mostly fake, right? I mean, I wonder if the National Enquirer and the New York Times now have the same editorial staff. It could be, maybe it's the same news coverage too, I don't know. But they're saying that President Trump wants to fire Rod Rosenstein. And Rosenstein says that he didn't say the things that they're claiming he said. Now, if anybody in the whole world would understand the media misrepresenting commentary, don't you think it would be President Trump? Now, if Rosenstein can make a good case that he didn't say the things that the papers say he said, gotta believe that the president's gonna say, you know something, I think they've lied about me too. Wouldn't be the first time, and as it goes right now, 92% of the time, lying from the media. That's according to a Pew Research poll. It's not Ron Siegel Radio discovers. But 92% of the time, they're giving out bad information. Where do we go for good information? That becomes the challenge right now, because the media's job is to hold politicians accountable. Are they doing their job? Now, I've come up with a simple solution here, and I don't know why it takes a simple person like me to come up with this, but in so many areas of what we do, it's mandated that we identify ourselves, right? If you're a real estate agent, you have to put your license on everything you do. As a mortgage originator, you have to put your license on everything you do. If you are a lawyer, you have to put your license on everything you do. Why can't we have that same issue for media? And then we can look them up and say, is this a news person or is it a commentator? Now, I'm just going to tell you, when you listen to Rush Limbaugh, you know what you're going to get. You're not getting the news. You're getting a commentator. Since Tim Russert died, where do you go to really get good news? Right? It's a difficult thing. That was their job. We need somebody to come back and start doing that once again. I have a source. I use it. I'll tell you who it is. Maybe I won't tell you, because no one's going to want to think that it's unbiased, but very, very good news source. If you want to know offline, just send me a private message, text message, Facebook, however you want to get a hold of me. You know where I am. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, home inspections. What do you need to know if you're buying a new home? How about a certified pre-owned home? Anybody ever hear of that concept? We buy certified pre-owned cars. What about a certified pre-owned home? How about that concept? Are home prices softening or are they falling? And here's a biggie, trapped in a payday loan. How do you get out? Let me out, please. We'll talk about all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value. Refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer?
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio anytime. At 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has the programs and the products for you. The only one I know of with the Fast Pass loan approval, saving you $10,000 to $50,000 on the purchase of your new home. So what is the Mortgage Minute? What are we doing today? What are we talking about? What is happening in the mortgage world? Well, first off, we always start off looking at the stock market. Dow Jones up 163 points right now. The 10-year Treasury, that was a measure. A lot of people look at it and say, well, the 10-year Treasury determines mortgage rates. Well, that's only partially true. 10-year Treasury up 1 basis point. That actually is a leading indicator to the Fannie Mae 30-year bond, which is the one that actually does drive interest rates. And that bond is down 5 basis points today, which means interest rates are up. That is a mathematic equation. Whenever the bond goes down, rates go up, and vice versa. Again, that is just straight mathematics. You don't get a choice there. But yesterday we heard the Federal Reserve say they increased the short-term rate 25 basis points. They said they're going to raise rates again probably in December and potentially 3 times next year. But the mortgage rates dropped. Why would that be? Well, we're looking at a stronger economy. That's why. And that's why we're seeing what's happening this morning again. As I mentioned, Fed hiked the Fed funds rate by a quarter as expected from 2 to 2 1/4. The Federal Reserve statement was almost the same as August 1st statement. You have to be a real scientist to figure out what they changed, because sometimes it's just one word out of the whole statement that they change, and it can drive the markets in one direction or another. The midterm and the 2018 GDP forecast was raised from 2.8% to 3.1%. The GDP estimate rose for 2019 from 2.4 to 2.5%. Interesting there, not a whole heck of a lot of difference on that one, so why would it change the market? Well, initial jobless claims, those came out, first-time unemployment benefits, 214,000 claims last week. We got an increase of 12,000 from the previous report, which was slightly revised higher by 1,000. And then we also look and say, what does Freddie Mac say about interest rates? Well, they're telling us that the current, are you ready for this one? I guess I should get my friends out here. What is the rates? It comes out at 7 o'clock every Thursday morning. And if you haven't heard it, I'll just get the, whoops, wrong. Hey guys, come on, let's get the right numbers in there. We got a drum roll here somewhere. There we go. Now, what are today's rates? We're going to see, and where were they last year? 4.72 is today's number. Last year, you ready for this? 3.83, almost 1 full percentage point higher is the way the mortgage market's going. If you're thinking about buying a house, what are you waiting for? See if they go a little higher on you and see if we're going to, if you think they're going back to 3, we hope they don't, because that would mean we've got another economic crash. Just saying. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. Let's chat this morning. We are learning. I love the idea of learning. One of my favorite parts of doing a radio broadcast every morning is I get to be the student. And today we're learning about home inspection. And we have got John and Melissa Hammond in the studio talking about this. So Melissa, what is a home inspection? I mean, we just walk in and look around?
Yes.
That's it. Okay, we can move on right now. That's all there is to it.
No, it's a complete evaluation of the home. We're looking at the exterior of the home, the interior of the home, a lot of things that people don't think to look for when they fall in love, when they're shopping for the house.
Okay, so being the person that has no clue about anything technical or handiwork, what am I, Johnny, you're looking at like sprinklers and light sockets and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we check receptacles and, check light sockets, like I say, but we also check the HVAC system.
Air conditioning?
Air conditioning, the electrical panel on the outside to make sure it's proper and the house is not going to burn down when you move in. And we check carbon monoxide detectors and make sure they're installed properly so you're safe for your family, and make sure the smoke detectors are installed where they're supposed to be.
So is the idea, guys, is it to try and get rid of some of the surprises? Is that the idea when I buy a house? Because the seller knows the house inside and out.
Well, my perspective is it's an education for you to make sure that the house is right for you.
Okay.
So if there's a few items going on in the house that you can handle, then the house is right for you. But if it's overwhelming and it's something that you're not prepared to do repairs on, maybe it's time to move on.
Okay. Now, I love this because I have people say this to me all the time, and I'm, like I said, I am not qualified to do anything of what you guys do. I mean, I could probably unlock the door. Beyond that, I'm in trouble. As long as there's a remote, I can turn on the TV. But a lot of people say, well, why can't I just do this all myself?
Well, we put it in a long report that's very detailed with pictures.
Okay,
so
I can read the pictures.
Yeah, you can read the pictures, but it also helps in renegotiating with the buying of the house. So once you find some of these issues, you can go back to the seller and say, hey, we found these issues that we did not see when we initially walked through the house. We need to have these things repaired, or we need a credit for these.
And then it goes back to a negotiation with the agent.
Starts all over again.
Okay, so that makes a whole lot of sense. Now, can anybody do this, or what do I need to do to get into this line of work?
Well, unfortunately, in California, anybody can do it. We are certified home inspectors through.
What does that mean, certified?
Certified means that we went through a company called CREA, California Real Estate Inspection Association, and we did our internship, we did our testing, and we have educational programs to make sure that we're up with current standards. So we are continually educated on what's going on in homes today.
Does everybody have to do that?
Nobody has to do that in California. There's other states that require it, but in California...
Listen, California regulates everything. How did inspectors get away with not being regulated?
Yeah, all you need is a couple of tools and maybe a software program, and you're good to go.
Really?
Really.
So I can be out there buying my castle, and that can be a $200,000 house or $2 million house, doesn't matter what it is, and somebody can come in and claim that they know what they're doing, and the whole world says that's fine.
Right, absolutely. And some of the agents that are not as forthright will use people like this to help the sale go through because they don't know what they're looking for, and they do a very light inspection, and it seems to be that the house is okay until people move in.
So how would I know if I'm getting a light inspection or a good inspection, or what would I be as a consumer? What do I need to be looking for?
Well, you want to be looking for somebody who's certified through CREA or ASHI. Those are the two credible certification companies out there. We follow standards and practice. Okay. So there are things that we have to look at and things that don't apply to home inspection, but we're regulated on what we need to do so our reports are consistent.
So is there a standard software that everybody would be, or most people would be using if they've got one of these certifications?
No, there's many different softwares. And then my software is kind of a hybrid. I made it myself, being in the business for over 10 years. I've, over the years, make it better almost every day to make it more thorough, more understanding for the clients.
And are you going in as a independent arbitrator, or are you going in trying to aid on one side or the other?
No, I'm an independent, not a contractor, but I'm contracted by the buyer to come into the house and look at the house for them, and then supply them with a report and the findings on what we found during the home inspection.
So in some instances, I hear from agents that sometimes the home inspection can just blow up a transaction because someone will say, you've got a bad socket there, and that means the whole house is bad.
I hear that every day. That's funny. We call them deal killers.
Okay.
But my theory on repairs is they put a man on the moon that can fix a house. So everything's fixable. We just need to find out if it's something that you can handle.
Is your report going to tell me, again, because I am the most ignorant person in the whole world when it comes to handy things. So is your report going to tell me that this is a major issue versus that should be done before we move in versus something that might be just a cosmetic issue?
Well, there's several items on the report that might be a safety concern where somebody can get hurt, and that's something that should be fixed before you move in. And other things are just handyman fixes, corrected recommendations.
Okay, so you've got recommendations and what I would call recommended and mandatory.
Correct.
Okay, so and it's going to be identified in there. So, as a seller, I might say, well, the recommendations I'm not dealing with because that's just a personal matter.
That's normal wear and tear. Right.
But the mandatory things, okay, now I could be held liable if I sell something that I know is defective.
Correct.
Okay, so then it's going to identify those things for me.
Correct.
Beautiful. We're going to talk more with John and Melissa Hammond when we come back. We're going to get further into this and see what we can learn, what we need to do, and maybe will it help us sell our house? Maybe we'll talk about that as well. What about a warranty? Did I use it for that? And how about that certified pre-owned home? We'll talk about all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Are home prices softening or are they falling? That is the subject. We're beginning to see reports that more housing inventory is coming to the market and that buyer demand may not be increasing at the same pace it did earlier this year. The result will be many headlines written to address the impact that these two situations will have on home values. Many of the headline writers will confuse softening home prices with falling home prices, but there is a major difference between the two. The data will begin to show that home values are not appreciating at the same levels they had over the last several years. That would be softening prices. This does not mean that prices are depreciating or falling. Give you an example. Over the last several years, national home values increased by more than 6% annually. Again, that's a national number. Here in Taxophornia, our numbers are higher than that. If you had home worth $300,000 at the beginning of the year, it would be worth $318,000 at year's end. If the appreciation rate falls to 4%, that $300,000 house would be worth $312,000 at the end of next year. A $6,000 difference. The home price did not fall. It just didn't increase at the same level it had the previous year. Appreciation rates are projected to end this year at approximately 5%, again, national number, and then drop to somewhere between 4 and 5% appreciation next year. That will be appreciation. That will be softening. That does not mean that prices are going down. So watch out when you hear the headlines. And once again, as I share with you, If you ever hear a housing story against CNBC, one of my favorites, Diana Olick might get a story accurate once in her life. So far, it hasn't happened, so don't listen or call me with the story, and I'll give you the truth of what happens really. Again, that is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. We are continuing our conversation, talking this morning with John and Melissa Hammond. They are Hammond Inspection Services. And I learned a lot from, I spent 10 minutes, Melissa, or 15 minutes, you were chatting at a meeting that I was at, and you were chatting about mold. And I found it fascinating. Just because I'm so ignorant, I know nothing about the stuff, I figured, if the mold is there, I better get the family out.
Yeah, that's the most people think, is that mold is the worst thing that
Tell
they've
me where
ever
I'm
seen.
wrong.
It's everywhere. Everybody's
Okay.
exposed to mold. That's an important part of our ecology
blue
and our
cheese.
environment. We love blue cheese. We love yogurt. All of those things are made with mold.
Really?
Absolutely.
So how do I fix it? I mean, so when you're selling a house, if you have mold in the house and somebody sees it when they come in, the buyer is automatically going to say, I am out of here. There's no possible way I buy this house. Gone.
Right. A lot of times the first thing people say is the thing we're most concerned about is mold in the house. And when we have those clients, it's usually when I will go and do the home inspection as well.
Okay.
And I'll do all of the water areas, the kitchens, the bathrooms, and I'm looking for anything that was past water damage, any current water damage. Is it dry? Is it wet? Mold's only going to grow wherever it's wet.
Okay.
And if we find some, it's not uncommon. We just need to remove it from the house so that it doesn't become a bigger problem. The only
So
time
does
it's-
regular mold, or whatever you would call regular mold, does that become black mold?
Well, after a while, and it's
Okay.
not, it doesn't transform. It just makes the first couple of molds make it friendly for the bigger, scarier molds to come in.
Ah, okay. And is it real expensive to remediate that?
It doesn't have to be.
Really?
It doesn't. As long as you are proactive, you see that there's a leak, you see that there's something, or even if you're buying a house and it's been there for a while, it's more about just making sure that you're cleaning it up and removing it and replacing the building material that was damaged.
Interesting. So all this stuff that we've been hearing on the news about this is really sensationalizing.
Absolutely. Mold is gold is what they say.
Really? Okay, so, and the other one that I hear about, and I actually went through this one and ended up in a lot of lawsuits over it, and I hope you're not going to tell me that I was stupid, but I probably was. Asbestos.
Now, asbestos, I think, is probably more dangerous than mold.
Okay.
But people freak out more about mold these days.
Really? Okay.
The thing is that mold you're going to have allergies more often than anything. With asbestos, you're going to be exposed to it unknowingly if it's friable or broken.
Okay.
And that doesn't have a problem for you for 40 to 60 years. So
I'll be gone in 40 to 60 years.
Right. So you and I are fine. It's more our kids that we need to be concerned about, and really only if it's damaged.
So is it true that asbestos is still in all of our drywall is all made with asbestos?
It's not made with asbestos.
Okay.
Asbestos is a rock. It's the serpentine rock, which happens to be the California state rock, by the way.
Oh.
That's where it's found.
Interesting.
And that rock happens to be in some areas where gypsum is also harvested in all of those what are they called?
Quarries.
Quarries.
Okay.
And so, on accident, not on purpose, asbestos will get into some of the gypsum, which gets put into some of the drywall. What we want to make sure is that it's a lower percent, that it's less than 1%.
Okay, so when I had a flood in my house, the drywall got all messed up, and they came out and they said, "Oh, we got to have an asbestos test."
Yeah, a lot of remediators will do that because it costs more to remediate than.
Oh, isn't that special? So I got that extra testing, and we got to be a resident of the Residence Inn for 3 months, all for nothing.
Oh goodness, that would it. Well, sometimes it's easier when you're not there to do the cleanup.
Okay.
So it's easier for you, it's easier for them to be able to contain everything because they should be removing it responsibly when they do find it. But
So is that when they bring in those funny suits and all that?
They wear them because they want to keep their exposure down too.
I was going to ask you that. Is it because they want to keep their exposure down or they want to keep the bill up?
It's definitely scary, and they use it for marketing.
Okay.
But it's to keep themselves protected. I have to wear a respirator when I go in and somebody's living there. Well, it's not because it's so dangerous for you. It's because I go see 15 houses with different things, and I'm going to increase my exposure.
Okay. Yeah, that would be pretty scary if I saw you coming into the house wearing a respirator and I'm just standing there chatting with you, right? I mean, hey, should I be wearing one of those things too, or what's the deal? But that makes sense because you don't know what you're walking into.
Correct.
And you're doing it multiple times.
I'm doing several times a day.
Yeah, so that would make a total sense. So how do I know what I need to do? Is this going to come out on every report when you guys do a home inspection if there is a mold issue?
Well, we don't ever call it mold until it's tested and we know that it's mold. Mildew is quite different from mold. It grows differently. It has different allergy effects. It doesn't create toxins.
Okay.
So a lot of times we'll see mildew and we can't say which one it is until it's tested. So if there's water damage, we'll note there's water damage. And if people are concerned about mold, that's when they need to do some testing.
So if you see mildew, was the remediation for mold and mildew the same?
No. Mildew is very simple. You can, if you have a bathroom that doesn't have great ventilation, then number one, you need to fix the ventilation in that bathroom. Okay. Because that's the number one thing that.
Sure.
Reason that we end up with mildew in the bathroom is because that humidity on the ceiling.
Okay.
Or on the walls. So you want to better the ventilation in the bathroom, but then on a regular basis, if you take your cleaning rag with some white vinegar and wipe those ceilings and the walls, it will kill the mildew, and then it won't continue to regrow. If we use bleach...
Going back, white vinegar.
White vinegar.
That's that stuff that I get like at Costco for like $1 for 75 gallons or something?
Right.
Real cheap stuff.
Really cheap stuff. It's not the most pleasant smelling, so if you want to put some oils in there to make it fancy, you can. But white vinegar on a rag, wiping down the walls, kills mold and mildew.
Holy cow! And you go to the hardware store or whatever, and they're selling you a $10 bottle of something that's like 2 ounces.
Right. Yeah. Those are all great. They've all been EPA approved if they say that they're mold killers or bathroom cleaners and everything like that. But they're not highly effective, especially if they're made with bleach or diluted bleach, because the bleach particles are large. They're not going to get into the porous materials where that mold, or if it does become mold, where those roots or hyphae grow into.
So it sounds to me, if I'm, because I'm cheap, right? We've talked about that on radio before. My favorite word is free. Yes. So I can actually talk to my wife when I get home. I don't get a vote, but I can talk to her about not buying all those fancy cleaning products, and I'll buy her more vinegar.
If we cleaned like our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers and their mothers before that, then we would very rarely have these things in our home.
Really?
Because they used white vinegar on baking soda, hydrogen peroxide on a regular basis to clean every surface of their house. And it became profitable to market them and make them smell good and put fancy labels on them. So now we're all accustomed to buying pre-made things, when if we just go back to buying gigantic gallons of vinegar and rubbing things down with then...
And the irony is I just kind of chuckle when you're saying that, because I've oftentimes just gone and grabbed the big bottle of vinegar and pour some in the dishwasher, because that way I want to get my glasses cleaner.
Right.
And we don't think about that for everything else.
Well, it's acetic acid. So it just has that higher pH. It breaks down the minerals of water and the hard things.
All those fancy words on me. I don't know. Acetic acid. Well, we're going to have to take a break here, because I can't figure out all that kind of stuff. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, more on home inspections with John and Melissa Hammond. We're going to continue that conversation. And payday loan debt. Do you have it? Have you figured out how to get out of it? We'll talk about that one as well. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1, on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 0186945 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solution. I've shared this before. Been looking at credit reports since way too long, and I've never ever seen a completely accurate credit report. The highest score I've seen is an 834 credit score, mortgage FICO credit score. The perfect score would be 850. I've never seen that, obviously. But even on the 834, I found about 10 errors on his report. What makes you think yours is any different? That's the question. Now, here's the issue, though. This one can really kill you. Payday loan debt. How do you get out of it? Nobody likes being in debt, but it's even worse when it seems like there's no way out. 12 million Americans. That one's a crazy number. When I saw that, that was a crazy number. 12 million Americans turn to payday loans every year, spending $9 billion on loan fees. $9 billion. That's according to a recent report by Pew Charitable Trust, because few of these loans are paid off by their due date. In fact, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau notes that more than 60% of borrowers end up trapped in payday loan debt. 60% of borrowers. Wow. Rolling over the loan so many times that they end up paying more in fees than their initial loan amount. But there is hope. You don't have to be stuck in the payday loan debt cycle forever. There are a number of strategies that can help you break the payday loan cycle. Payday loans are unsecured personal loans targeted at people who need money fast but don't possess the type of credit or collateral required for a more traditional loan. Usually the only requirements to qualify for a payday loan are an active bank account and a job. Crazy. The very structure of payday loans is set up to keep people on the hook. Here's a breakdown of what payday loan debt looks like according to Pew Charitable Trust. Not short-term. Loan fees are huge. People borrow for the wrong reasons. It is a vicious cycle. And what happens if you don't pay the payday loan? As with any other loan, if you default on the payday loan, it can result in growing fees, penalties, possible legal action. How do you get out of it? Well, you got to stop. You got to get on a budget. The best way out can depend on where you took out the loan. Laws governing payday loans vary from state to state. Talk to them. Try and get extended payment terms. Talk to one of our friends. Here's an issue that you may not like to hear. Talk to a bankruptcy attorney. Ask the bankruptcy attorney, pay the bankruptcy attorney, just to send a letter to the payday loan company. What is the payday loan company going to do the very first thing when they get the letter? They are going to look up the bar number of the attorney. When they see the attorney specializes in bankruptcy, they will be very motivated to work with you. If you need some information on that, give me a call at 800-306-1990. I can put you in touch with an attorney that does handle these type of situations. And you know something, if the ultimate is that you need to file bankruptcy, there are no scarlet letters. Nobody will even know. Nobody really even cares if you filed bankruptcy. The issue will become, it's not the greatest thing in the world. I want you to make sure and take care of your obligations. But you know something? There's too many people. One of the causes of suicide nowadays is finance. It's not worth it. Let's find out how we can get out of it. Let's get on a game plan to fix the problem. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, again brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Continuing our conversation, John and Melissa Hammond are in with us today. Hammond Inspection Services. So let me ask you this question. When I'm looking at new cars right now, and when you talk to the folks over at the auction, they give you a rating on new cars. When they do it over at the auctions, they do it on a 5-point scale. Is there something along those lines in the inspection report that's some sort of a rating like that?
No, there's not, unfortunately.
So you just look at it and say, okay, I looked at, and you looked at 100 items, and I don't know whatever the number is, right. And I just look at it and say, okay, these are the urgent issues. You've got some wires off of that electric plug. They're going to cause a fire pretty soon, so you might want to fix that versus a hole in a piece of drywall.
Right. It's just we take a lot of pictures and just notate things under safety concerns or under corrective recommendations.
Okay.
And it's up to you to determine what's important to you to get fixed.
Now, do I need to be there for this whole process?
We prefer it. We prefer at least the last hour so we can walk you around and show you what we find.
Okay.
Because if you just read it on a report, you think the sky is falling. And sometimes there's easy fixes that just need a little explanation.
Okay, so, and I like the way you put that though, John, because you wanted, if you're there, and we talked about this in the earlier segment, that some inspectors are referred to as deal breakers, because if you just get a report and you're as ignorant as I am, right? I would look at the report and say, man, this I got a 30-page report. This property is a dive. This is a fixer-upper instead of a pristine home.
Right. Correct.
And if I'm there with you and you can walk around and say, well, this is minor. This is something you really need to look into. You're the expert. Right, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, it's 10 years now.
10 years.
Yeah.
Something, when I bought my house, well, I think I bought it in '94. I don't even think there was any such thing as a home inspection.
Well, it started in the mid-'80s. Home inspections, right?
Yeah. So,
and a lot of people just didn't know about home inspection until it grew and it got bigger and bigger, and house prices went up, so it's more of an investment now.
Okay, so let me ask you this other question then, because you said be there for the last hour. How long is this going to take?
It just depends on the condition and the size, but typically it takes 2
size matters.
Size matters.
Okay.
Yeah. Typically 2 to 3 hours. In a normal house, maybe a condo, hour and a half.
Okay.
But if you can be there for the last portion of it, then at least we can do a summary review with you so you can understand what's going on.
And when you walk out, am I going to have the report then, or?
You get an email the same day.
Okay.
We go home, put the report together, and then email it off to you the same day.
Okay, so it's not like it's going to take a whole long time to to deal with it, so it's not going to hold up my transaction.
No, correct. Yeah, you get it quickly so you can review it.
And then that's when now do you send it to the seller as well?
Absolutely not. The report is for the buyer only.
Okay.
They're the ones that pay for the report, so they get a copy, and typically we'll send one to their agent.
Okay.
Right.
So basically, it's kind of very similar to the appraisal, right? Whoever's paying for it they get the report, and if they want to share it,
yeah, correct.
It's their business.
Right.
So I was talking to a friend of mine in Dallas, and he has a program called a certified pre-owned home. And basically, it's nothing more than the seller, either before they list their house or when they list their house, having an inspection done. Is that something that you're seeing at all in California?
We do it a little bit. It's called a pre-listing inspection. They do it more up in Northern California.
Okay.
But, we do provide that service here. And we do recommend it because you can fix some of the repairs before you list the house. So it doesn't seem like it's in bad condition. Some things are so simple to fix, the sellers don't even know they're going on because they live there so long.
So if I did a pre-listing inspection and then I go through and fix the items, what would it cost me to get that an updated report with the repairs noted?
Typically, if I do the inspection and charge the client for the inspection, I'll go back and revise the report at no charge.
Okay, so then I could make that available to the buyer. They might want to do their own inspection with somebody of their choosing, but I can put that in there and say, hey, this house has been certified by Hammond Inspection.
Right. I actually did that when flipping was very popular for a couple investment companies.
Okay.
They would flip a house, I'd come in and I would do the inspection, and they leave the inspection report on the table during the open houses so that people can go through it.
That'd be fascinating. It seems to me like it makes a whole lot of sense is just get it done. And, I don't know whether that, I'm not the lawyer in the house, but, it'd probably make it easier on the disclosures, right? I mean, I've had, I might know what I know, which is very little, right? And then I can go and say, here's the professional that inspected, here's a copy of the report. Now we can include that as part of the contract.
Correct. Right. At least everybody knows about it going into the contract.
Makes a lot of sense to me. I like the idea. Certified pre-owned home. That is the idea right there. If you want to get more information on that, give me a call at 800-306-1990. If you want more information on mold services, home inspections, again, John and Melissa Hammond Inspection Services. They are the experts in the field. I just get to talk to them. And you can reach me anytime. And obviously, as I say all the time, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Over the limit, I'd like to call him something. I think I'll just call it a day. Pour me something tall and strong, make it a hurricane.